Most people get a VPS, install one app, and then stop there. But once Docker is installed, your server can do a whole lot more. In this video, we're going to turn one VPS into a complete self-hosted website stack for your business with a website, analytics, uptime monitoring, and short links, each running its own subdomain. So instead of paying separately for every little website tool, you can run everything yourself on a single server. And to keep this beginner friendly, we'll use my VPS setup script to prepare the server, then a ready to go Docker compose file, which launches the full stack, so you can get set up quickly while still learning the basics of Docker. So let's get started. Now, to follow along, you'll need a server at home or a VPS in the cloud with at least these specs that you see here on the screen. I'm using Verpex for this video, and if you use my link below, I may earn a commission at no extra cost to you, which helps support the channel. So once you have your server, grab the IP address and connect to it over SSH as the root user like this. And now the first step that we want to do is to get our fresh Ubuntu server ready for Docker. And like I said, I have a script that does exactly that. It's on my GitHub. And also you should know that I do have every single command in this video on my blog post, which is linked below. And for the first step that we're going to do right here is to pull that script down onto our server from my GitHub and execute it. So let's go ahead and do that first. All right, and as you can see here, the script is going to do a whole bunch of stuff that beginners usually skip, and that includes things like updating the system, enabling automatic security updates, enabling the firewall. And the first thing that we're going to do is to create a non-root user. So let's go ahead and do that. Enter a username and give him a password, confirm it, and then you can just skip through this stuff right here, and we'll let that do its thing. All right, finally installing Docker, and there we go. So like it says here, it does want you to log out by typing exit and then reconnect using your new user. So let's go ahead and do that. Type that new password. All right, and we're back. Now, the script that we just executed only enables the port 22 for SSH connections. Let me show you that here. Sudo UFW status. All right, there you go. Open SSH, which is port 22. Now our compose stack does want port 80, which is HTTP, and port 443, which is HTTPS. So we want to enable that with UFW allow command. So we'll do that for 80. We'll do that for 443, and then we'll check the status again. And that looks good. Okay, now that we have that all set up and out of the way, what we want to do is get the actual Docker compose stack files onto our server. And just like I have my VPS setup script on GitHub, I also have a subdirectory under here with the website stack that we're going to be executing. So in order to get that on our server, we will go into here and copy this URL, and we will clone that onto our system using git. So we'll do git clone and then paste that URL, hit enter. And now if you do an ls, you'll see that directory here. So we'll navigate into that with the cd command. And then in here, we have the script that we executed in the beginning of the tutorial. But under the subdirectory, I have the ghost website stack files in here. And there are three main files, as you can see here: the Caddyfile, the compose.yml file, and then a readme file. There's actually one other hidden file. So if you do an ls-la, you'll see the .env example file. And let's start with that file. Actually, we'll copy that and call it just .env, and then we'll make some modifications with the text editor of your choice. I'm going to use nano in this video, so we'll do nano.env, hit enter. All right, and basically there's two main things that we want to do in here. We want to replace all these example.com domain names with the domain name that you actually have registered, and then we also want to replace all these template passwords with real strong passwords. So let's first take care of the domain names. Okay, there we go. So we have a domain name for our website, which will be running Ghost, a domain name for Matomo, which is going to be our analytics, a domain name for our uptime monitor, which is Uptime Kuma, and then a domain name for our short links, which we're going to be using Kutt for that. Next up, let's replace all of these with actual strong passwords. All right, that looks good. And just so you know, you can use the OpenSSL command to generate long, strong passwords like this, and that's what I just did here. So that's just a nice shortcut just to make sure that everything is locked down and not guessable. Okay, let's exit out of here with Control X, Y, hit enter, and now we are back on our terminal session. All right, so the next thing you want to do is to create a DNS record for each one of those domain names that points back to our VPS server IP address. Now, this is going to look a little bit different for everybody, depending on where you registered your domain name. I registered my domain name, which we're going to use for this tutorial, jarlanta.com, with Cloudflare. But regardless of where you registered it, go into your domain name registrar, find the DNS settings. And once you're there, you just want to add 5 records. And for the first one, we're going to just point it to the main domain name, which is the @ symbol here for root, and then put the IP version 4 address in here. And as you can see, jarlanta.com will point to our server IP address. If you are using Cloudflare, turn off the proxy for now because we are going to have Caddy issue our SSL certificates. So we'll save that. Our next one will be for www.yourdomainname.com, and we'll point it to the same IP address. The next one will be for analytics.yourdomainname, and that'll be the same IP address. The next one is for the uptime monitor, so we'll do status for that and save. And then the last one will be for our short link, so we'll do go.yourdomainname and the same IP address, click save. Okay, so by the end, you should have something that looks similar to this, of course, with your own domain and your own IP address. Now, let's go back to our terminal window. The other files that we care about, like I said, are the Caddyfile and the compose file. So let's look at each one of those just real quick, just so you understand what's going on here. So the compose file defines the containers, the Docker containers that we're going to be using. So we're going to be using Caddy, which there's a separate file for that, as you can see here. The Caddyfile, we'll look at that next. This is basically going to route each domain and subdomain to the right application and issue our SSL certificate. And then we have the ghost image here, which is our blog, our website, and you can see some of the variables that we define in our .env file. This YML file is reading those in. The database for ghost is ghost-db. There's our passwords that we defined. And then moving on down, Matomo, that is our website analytics. There's a database associated with that called Matomo-db. Uptime Kuma is our uptime monitor. And then finally down here, Kutt is our URL shortener. So we'll check out each one of those. Also some volumes at the bottom. Control X to get out of here. And then the last file I want to look at is the Caddy file. So nano Caddyfile, hit enter. And then other than this block up here, which is defining our Let's Encrypt email, each one of these other blocks are essentially doing the same thing. So we are redirecting our www version of our website to the non-www version here. And then for each one of our applications, we're defining a block for each one of those. And then they'll be running on our server under their Docker container name, which is kind of like a host name, under a certain port for each one of those, as you can see here. And then what Caddy does is basically, like I said, issues the SSL certificate and routes all the traffic. So no changes in here. Control X to get out of there. Before we start our Docker stack, this portion of the video is sponsored by MetalBear. Now, for our tutorial today, we're using Docker Compose to launch a website stack on one VPS. For this kind of project, the workflow is pretty simple. Update the files, run Docker Compose, and check that everything started. But if you work on larger applications, especially apps running in Kubernetes, testing a small code change can take a lot more work. Normally, you change your code locally, build a new container image, push it somewhere, deploy it to the cluster, wait for it to start, and then finally test whether your code change works. MetalBear makes MirrorD, an open source tool that makes that workflow a lot less painful. With MirrorD, your code still runs locally on your computer, but it connects to your Kubernetes cluster as if it were running there. So you can use your normal editor and debugger while local code can still interact with the real services, traffic, files, and environment variables from the cluster. If you're working with Kubernetes, microservices, or cloud-native apps, you can try MirrorD free for 7 days with no credit card required using the link in the description. Thanks to MetalBear for sponsoring this portion of the video. Now let's start our Docker stack, and we can do that first by pulling down the containers with Docker Compose pull, and you can see those being pulled down in real time right now. All right, there we go. And now let's start up those containers with Docker Compose up-d for daemon to run those in the background. Okay, cool. And just for good measure, let's do a Docker Compose PS to make sure that everything is actually up and running. And if we make this a little bit bigger, we can get this all on one line. And as you can see here, all of our containers are up and running. And at this point, all 4 of our open source applications are being hosted on our VPS server. So let's go ahead one by one and check them out. So we can start out with our main domain name. /ghost to access our ghost admin dashboard. And here is your ghost admin dashboard. I'm not going to get into the specifics of what all this is. I have another video on ghost specifically on this channel, so check that out. Otherwise, if you just want to see your website, go to your main domain name, hit enter, and there you go. All right, next let's set up our analytics. So we'll go to analytics.yourdomainname, and this is going to open Matomo. So they have a setup wizard in here. So let's just go through that real quick. The first real step here is a system check, and you should see all green check marks if you're following along. You will probably also see a warning for forced SSL connection, which is okay because we're using Caddy for our SSL certificate. So we'll click on next. Everything should pre-populate for your database setup from your Docker config file. So let's click on next. It created the tables, perfect. Go ahead and create a super user, and then we'll click on next. And now we can integrate Matomo Analytics into our website. So let's do that. The website name, its URL. All right, that looks good. Click next. All right, and what Matomo does is gives you this JavaScript tracking code. So we'll copy that and then go into our Ghost website. And from the admin dashboard, go to settings, down here to advanced, code injection, open. And then under the site header, go ahead and paste that JavaScript tracking code for Matomo, and we'll save that. Now we'll get out of here, go back to the setup and click on next. Continue to Matomo, we'll log in. And here is the Matomo admin dashboard. So what we want to do is to make sure that our tracking is actually working. So let's go to visitors and then real time. And I'm just going to open up a new tab here and make the window just a little bit smaller so we could see everything at once. So in here, we'll go to our Ghost website, hit enter. And within a couple seconds, we should see this pop up in the background. I know the first time I did this a couple times, it's a bit of delay, or I had to refresh the page to see the actual page hit. So let's do that. There's the page hit. So we'll go to the real-time map. I'm currently located in Denver, so there's that page hit. So that is up and running and working. All right, let's configure our URL shortener. So we'll go to go.yourdomainname, hit enter, and we'll create our admin account here. And here is the Kutt admin dashboard. The layout is pretty simple. So basically we're just shortening URLs. So for example, say on our main website, we wanted a short link to this page here. So this would be our long URL. So we'll copy that and paste it here. And then it would automatically make a slug like this part, but we can customize the custom address here. Let's make that test and optionally do a password, have an expiration, give it a description, but we'll just keep it like this. So basically now, anytime anybody goes to go.jarlanta.com/test, it'll redirect them to the coming soon page. And we can test that out. So let's copy that, get out of here, open up a new tab, paste it in, hit enter, and that does what it's supposed to do. Okay, finally, let's set up our uptime monitor at status.yourdomainname. And as you can see here, we're using Uptime Kuma for this. And when you get this option for about what database you want to choose the embedded Maria database. It's the simplest option, so we'll click on next. Create our admin account. And now you can add as many Uptime monitors as you would like. Let's do one for our main website. Most of these options, the defaults, are probably fine for most people. You can also set up notifications. There are so many different types of ways you could be notified if your website goes down. We won't do that in this tutorial, but I just want to make you aware that that is an option. Anyway, we'll go ahead and click on save. And now we have our uptime monitor. As time goes on, you'll see this turn into hopefully all greens. And if the website's down for any amount of time, one of these dots will turn red. Now that you've seen how much one VPS can do with Docker, in the next video we'll use a self-hosted dashboard where you can deploy and manage software from a catalog of hundreds of one-click apps. I'll see you over there.